about electronic radiation. Does anyone really know what the effects are? What do the experts say?
I've been studying the effects of electromagnetic energy for several years and have performed detailed measurements of the radio frequency emissions from cellular telephone transmission systems. First, let me put your concerns into perspective. Basically, when we talk about electromagnetic energy from cellular systems, we are talking about the same general type of transmissions that radio and television use, only significantly less powerful. Despite the considerable amount of information obtained from laboratory research and epidemiological studies, the scientific community has not identified any significant health impact from living in environments where radio and television broadcasts occur around the clock. These systems and their related microwave point-to-point communications link play a vital role in obtaining and receiving urgently needed information. In fact, we have a facility very similar to this one operating right here at UC Davis Medical Center.
The bottom line really is that, yes, RFR exposure is associated with damage to DNA. The scientific literature also documents the exquisite sensitivity of the brain to radio frequency radiation, and Senator Hayden has also mentioned this. Now, all of these studies provide a reason for concern, and I think they provide justification for action, and it's for that reason that I support and ask your support for Senator Hayden's bill.
Each year, including this year, over 100,000 people will be diagnosed in the United States with a brain tumor, either metastatic or primary. And brain tumors now have the dubious distinction of being the second leading cancer killer of children under the age of 19. Further study is warranted. In fact, the International Agency for Research on Cancer has decided to conduct a 9-country study of whether cell phones cause brain tumors. While it's not clear at this moment whether cell phones cause brain tumors, what is clear is the growing public concern.
I'd really like to speak.
I worked in the industry for 2.5 years, and I was diagnosed with a brain tumor in February of 1999.
I was a specialist, a cellular specialist, and known and recognized in the industry. If you had any problems, go take it to that girl. And Dr. Joyce came on and he says, you know, honey, sometimes one thing leads us to find another. And he said, you have a brain tumor. There's such a big cover-up on this because of money.
It's very, very difficult, as you know, to prove cause and effect when it comes to the energy modalities. The brain tumors are probably going to begin, they probably already are, beginning to show up in cell phone users. It's going to take probably 10 to 15 years for it to show up in those who live near the cell towers, more than likely. And then it's going to take another 2 years to gather the data. It's going to take another 3 years for peer review. It's going to take another 4 years to end up in the journals. So we're 20 years away from holding this industry accountable. In the meantime, you do the math, there's billions of dollars at stake there that they're going to rake it, and they very cynically know how long it's going to take to prove this.
The industry has in fact engaged in the research, and it's funded a tremendous amount of research since the early 90s.
And what does that research indicate?
The research indicates that there is no significant scientific nexus between the use of cellular phones and a variety of different health effects that have been investigated, Senator.
I would just like to highlight one issue that has not been raised to date, and that is that every federal agency that has examined this issue has determined, and I quote, that the scientific evidence does not demonstrate any adverse health effects associated with the use of mobile phones. And that statement is from the FDA as recently as October of 1999.
The FDA has said, after all these years, that they can't certify that the technology is safe or not safe. It seems to me when you've got 25,000 of these cell phones being purchased a day, the fact that the FDA cannot certify them as safe should be cautionary.
You know, your people say something, these people say something else, and I'm not going to determine who is right and who is wrong. However, I do want to hold the industry's feet to the fire and say this very, very clearly, that there is obviously some research out there that indicates that there might be some problems in terms of medical outcomes.
Senator, do you have our commitment that we'll certainly work on the concept? We have to see the details, obviously, but we'll certainly be responsive.
All right, do I hear a motion?
So moved.
So moved by Senator Solis. Secretary, please call the roll.
Escutia.
Aye.
Escutia, aye. Haynes.
Vasconcelos.
Aye.
Vasconcelos, aye. Measure passes.
The truth is, I think we barely got that bill out of committee.
Yeah.
Because industry was just beating on people.